This is the Philanthropy Show, connecting and inspiring philanthropy. Here's your host, Luann Walters.
Welcome to the Philanthropy Show. I'm your host, Luann Walters. You know, anyone working in the nonprofit world knows the deal. Nonprofit work takes time and money. Yes, but how do we maximize the contributions that our supporters so lovingly and generously give? Well, one group has found a way, and they've been doing this for more than 15 years now. In fact, all over the world, 36 cities, 8 countries, and more than 3,000 members. And you might actually have an affiliate in your neighborhood, in your community. One just opened here in the Tampa Bay area. And our guest today is Rebekah Heppner, the founding member of the affiliate, I'm going to let you explain how you call yourselves, of Social Venture Partners of Tampa Bay. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. This is, you know, it's a marvelous idea because it's something that we struggle with so much. How can we maximize those contributions? And I like the model on this. I'm going to turn this over to you and let you explain a little bit about it. To me, it's very empowering, and it's about the whole individual, not simply the monetary portion. So Social Venture Partners, what is it? How did it begin? What caught your interest?
Okay, well, it actually started around 1997 in Seattle when a software entrepreneur during the first .com boom sold his business but was still in his 40s and wanted to be very involved. And he didn't really see anything he was interested in. So he thought, well, what I know is venture capital. So why don't we create a venture capital type model for philanthropy? And that's what Social Venture Partners is really based on. So the idea is that it's not just money, but it's time, connections, expertise that's been developed over people's careers. So now, as you described, it's evolved into this worldwide movement.
Which is just phenomenal.
Yeah. And we just launched in Tampa Bay this week, so your timing is great. A few of us have been working behind the scenes for about a year to get a group of people together to say that we have enough that we really do exist. But the idea has come to be called engaged philanthropy. So our work actually starts after we write the check. So as funders, a group of people, partners, get together. Everybody puts in a minimum of $5,000 a year. So we have a pool of money held at the Community Foundation, and then we work together to decide who we're going to invest in. That's what we call the nonprofits. After we choose them, then we write them a check that is unrestricted funding, which is a great, wonderful thing to be able to do because we believe that they know best how to spend the money. And then we start working with them on an assessment process so that they can work with us and tell us how our partners can be useful to them. And our usefulness is meant to be capacity building, things like our business skills in strategic planning, perhaps, making choices about all the different opportunities they might have for growth, finance, marketing, communications, IT. Depends on what the organization needs and wants from us, but we really want organizations that will take advantage of the expertise that our partners have.
And I love that aspect. Just love that aspect. So you're not simply a grant-making body,
right?
Saying, "Tell me what it is that you know you need," because there are other grant makers who have unrestricted or portions of unrestricted funding, but you're engaging with them, and that's that engaged philanthropy model. Is this something that all of the partners within an affiliate do? Do they all say you give, like congratulations on your first grant, which was Community Tampa Bay. Now, do all the partners take a vote? Do they all say, this is what I want to do, this is who I want to, and do they decide how much they want to get involved?
Yes, all of those things.
That's awesome.
My role, the challenge here is coordinating all of that.
Wow.
Some partners don't have a lot of time right now. They're still very busy and working, and so they're just involved to give their vote and let us move on. And then some are very actively engaged and involved, and we have lead partners that'll be, really involved with the organization all the time. As far as the selection process, the idea is one partner, one vote. We did have a committee that vetted agencies, so by the time we got to the partner level, we showed them some that we thought were good candidates. That was based on some input from them, and that'll develop as we get more partners, more input.
Sure.
But what we were really looking for is what I call the SVP fit. So not so much about the mission in particular, although I love Community Tampa Bay's mission, and all of our partners do, but we were looking for an organization that's really poised to grow so that we could help them maybe break through some barriers to get to the next level, to take advantage of some opportunities to grow.
It's very community centric, because you don't know, they're going to be different partners with each affiliate and different needs within each community. So the process of determining that, that's got to be fun, kind of sitting around and saying, what are the skill sets that we have and what are we looking to?
And really starting to understand the community needs. And that's been a fun part for me, because I've been working with nonprofits now for about 15 years, on a part-time basis as a consultant. And I went back to USF and studied anthropology and learned a lot of great research about social issues. But most of our partners haven't had time to do any of that. They've been very busy running their own businesses or being executives, but they want to know some of that. And so we're going to do an education piece also. I left that out because we're just starting on that, I believe, on Monday. And giving them some experiences, learning about the community, learning about the real issues that our community faces so that we can make informed decisions. So that's really part of it. And then the idea of picking the right agency, it was a great learning experience for them because they'd never made a grant before. They'd written $50 checks, $1,000 checks because somebody asked them to, invited them to dinner. One of my partners calls that popcorn giving. At the end of the year, she's given away $5,000, but she couldn't tell you where or what it accomplished. So the idea here is we'll do it together. She'll still write all those checks to all the people that invite her to breakfast and lunch, but now she's part of something where she really will help make a decision of where it will go and how we'll measure the impact of that.
And that's so much more fulfilling than simply being able to write a check. You know you're doing good in giving the check, but it's the time and the skill set plus the money that really pulls you into helping that nonprofit organization. Within the communities, when you have different nonprofits, as you grow, you're going to have different ones who come. Will you pick a certain specific issue, kind of like a foundation?
We haven't decided that yet.
Okay.
Around the country, most people do. Sometimes they do it 5 or 10 years in after they've learned about community needs. I don't think we're ready to do that because they would be relying way too much on a few of us that understand the community, and it may not be their passion. So we'll probably do a focus perhaps each year, maybe 2 or 3 focuses each year. Last year we came up with 3 focuses. We ended up only considering organizations in one, just because that was who we were able to determine we're at this right level. In the future we'll be able to do a much broader reach and get more people involved, get more agencies involved, but we need to at least communicate to the nonprofits. I'm also very sensitive. I don't need 1,000 people to apply when I can only fund 1. We'll be funding 2 or 3, maybe a year, ever. So we need to find out from our partners and learning about the community how to focus that so that we don't create expectations that we can't fulfill.
How can somebody find out if they have a social venture partners in their community, as this is, broadcast on the internet and people can be watching from everywhere?
And one of the great things about social venture partners is that over the years they've developed a brand and they developed some platforms that we were able to become a part of right away. So as soon as we had enough partners to pay a very small fee to the national office, we have a website and it's connected to every other website. So socialventurepartners.org is the website, and it has a little drop-down menu, has a map of where we all are and a drop-down menu, and you'll see the list of all the cities and countries that they're in. If you click on it, you go directly to that website.
And now, here in Tampa Bay, and you've already formed relationships with the Community Foundation of Tampa Bay and some other organizations. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to talk about that collaborative process.
Right.
That's another strength that Social Venture Partners brings to the table. We'll take a break and we'll be right back.
Follow the Philanthropy Show on Facebook for behind-the-scenes action, polls, and commentary.
And welcome back to the Philanthropy Show. We're talking today with Rebekah Heppner, a founding member of Social Venture Partners Tampa Bay, the affiliate here, which is a global now organization or group affiliation, doing some amazing work worldwide. And really, I think one of the significant factors for me, Rebekah, is how passionate, purposeful, and heart committed the partners are, and especially Paul Shoemaker.
Yes.
And Paul didn't start, he started Social Venture Partners Seattle, correct?
He didn't actually start it. He's the founding executive director. It was started by some community leaders, and about a year or two in, they realized they needed a staff person, and they lured him away from Microsoft, actually, to do this.
Well, I had the chance to speak with Paul when he was in town for your kickoff, and I want to go to that video now, and then we'll come back. But here's Paul Shoemaker. Thank you for joining us this morning.
You bet, thank you.
This is an exciting day for two reasons. One, for us, because you're here and you've come down early so that we can speak with you about Social Venture Partners International. But also for the launch here of Social Venture Partners in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, very exciting.
So, you know, I wanted to ask Rebekah if we could speak with you while you're here, because I wanted to hear your take. Now, you're one of the leaders in SVP International. What is the significant factor? What's the model that makes SVP so unique and so powerful?
Yeah, so what SVP is all about is a couple of things. One is about connection, and another thing is about engagement. So we believe that money is necessary. We think it's not sufficient in solving social problems. We believe in the power of human capital, social capital, intellectual capital, along with money to try to solve social problems. So what we do is we have these membership groups all over the world. We're in 39 cities in 8 countries around the world. We have over 3,000 members, just like people in Tampa Bay. And they put in not just their money, but they put in their human capital. We invest it in organizations in the community.
You mean their time,
yes,
their skill set, any other way that they can contribute when you say human capital?
I went a little jargony on the other, didn't I? Thank you. So partners will put in their money and also put in their time and their professional skills, and they'll help organizations like Community Tampa Bay to help them build their organizational capacity. In turn, what the partners get out of that is this great community engagement and connection to the challenges in the community, and they will grow their own civic and philanthropic leadership abilities in the community. So that's what we do in short.
Now, do you work with like organizations like Community Tampa Bay, which was the first recipient here? They all obviously have to go through the same effects that nonprofits do in raising funds and doing their campaigns and whatnot. And are you working directly with those fundraisers to try to help them achieve that self-sustenance?
So what I would say is that part of our goal with any organization is this sort of a continuum of sustainability from sort of complete dependence to independence. We're trying to help them move along that continuum. And part of that is their ability to raise money and to raise funds more effectively. Part of that is about their technology infrastructure. Part of that is about their financial systems. All those things are about building a stronger organization so they can become more sustainable. So obviously part of that is, yes, helping them with fund development and fundraising, but it's lots of other parts. We try to take a 360-degree look at an organization like Community Tampa Bay with them and analyze where they're strong and where they're weak and how do we help them build a more holistic, stronger organization to achieve their purpose in the community.
Do you know, I didn't talk to you about this ahead of time, but I was actually the fund development person at Community Tampa Bay, which is ironic because as life does, everything kind of comes together at some time. But I felt that too, and I see that now, that the model that we currently have, it just has fundraisers and fund development, CFREs, on this gopher wheel, that every year you're trying to do the same thing, and you can't get to the sustaining model that you want to be at without changing it in some way. Is it difficult to change that mindset, the framework of this is a community oriented, to try and get individuals with their human capital, their time? Has it been difficult to try to show people this, or to say, or people rallying and saying, this is a good idea?
Well, in the last, so I guess the fact that we're in 39 cities and 8 countries says there's something about it that is sort of epidemic or contagious. But there's also way more than 3,000 people around the world that could be involved in a model like this. It's all about spreading the word. We're 15 years old, and yet in a place like this we're brand new. So we're still trying to get the word out to people. We are a different model, different approach, so it takes a little bit of explanation, it takes a little bit of time. But once people really sort of get it and understand what it's about, and not only what they're going to do for the community, but what they can get out of it in terms of building a deeper sense of purpose in their own life, it attracts a lot of people. It just takes time. It's sort of one person at a time.
I love, number one, that you have the passion for it, because you obviously, it just comes out of you.
Thanks.
And wanted to say, obviously, others have recognized it because you were named a thought leader. And I love this Rockefeller Foundation Fellowship and what you did with this. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah.
That's kind of speaking to exactly what you just said.
Yeah, so what I did was I was given a fellowship for a month to go hang out at this wonderful place in Italy and think. Great thoughts. But the project that I identified was, how do I sort of take the last 15 years of doing this work and working with people in Seattle and in Portland and in Toronto and in Tokyo and in Tampa now, and what have I sort of been able to learn from that? And can I sort of distill out of that things that I think I can share back out with the world? And for me, what I'm passionate about, what I'm committed to, is engaging more people to realize their potential to create more positive impact in their communities. So,
say that again.
to help people realize their potential to create more positive change in their community as well as in their own lives.
That is so important. I think it's a huge factor. People don't understand enough how powerful that one person can be.
No, absolutely, correct. So the framework that I came up with is a little bit of bad grammar. It's the idea of can't not do. And I want people to find what it is in their life and what it is in their community they can't not do. And I came up with that phrase because literally when I talk to people about somebody that really gets engaged in a cause in the community, they don't feel like they can do it, they feel like they can't not do it.
I love that.
And it's about people finding that passion. What is it that they're determined optimist about? What is it that's something that really comes from who they are at their core? And what's that cause out there in the community that they'll sort of like stick with and run through the fire with and stick with it and come out the other end. So I want to try to help people find those things in their world and their community that they will dive into more deeply.
That's beautiful, and they will impact so many people.
Correct.
The people who are working with them, or the young people, or their co-workers, they see this person can't not doing.
Correct.
And figure that out themselves.
That's the idea.
Just getting goosebumps. That's really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you. Congratulations on Social Venture Partners Tampa Bay.
Thanks.
Congratulations on International, and thanks for stopping by and seeing us.
I'm very excited to be here today. Thanks.
I love what he has to say. I love his passion, and that can't not do. It's so inspiring. Find the thing that you can't not do. You see that with the other partners with Social Venture Partner too. But I just, that purpose essence. Talk to that a little bit. Is that what struck you about Social Venture Partners and what made you wanted to found an affiliate here?
I actually probably was more logical about it, seeing the need in the community for capacity building, and also seeing the people that I knew would give more if they felt more connected, which is what leads you to the can't not do. We're probably not there yet. The partners have signed on knowing that that's out there for them, and so part of our role is to provide these opportunities for them to find that in themselves, but they all are seeking it. They all know that there's something more they want to do than what they get from their day jobs, although they have amazing, successful careers and are very good at them and enjoy them. There's something else that they want to do. And some of them know what it is, but most of the people that are joining right now are hoping to find it through this.
Well, and I think that's what philanthropy is. Philanthropy is about finding that heart connection of something that you really want, that is so important to you that you want to affect change. And you do that however you can, with your time, with your talent, with your whatever those resources may look like, money, what have you. What are you finding are the needs, and I'm going to drill down into the local community that we have here in Tampa Bay, that you've seen just since, well, your 15 years in the nonprofit world, but then even more specifically with Social Venture Partners. What are the biggest areas that kind of pop up?
It really gets down to capacity building, overhead. I mean, that's a big pet peeve of mine, and it's starting to get a lot of attention, is this idea that nonprofits are really starving themselves for infrastructure, paying staff on a competitive level. And I think that is part of the niche Social Venture Partners fills, because we give them the unrestricted money, and then we help them to do some of the things that they don't have the time. They may know how, maybe not, but we can help them with some of the things that the executive director, who's buried in day-to-day tasks, can't do. With a for-profit business, our business owners would never say, let's not hire the best and brightest people and pay them a competitive rate.
Or update our database, or get our computers running so they're not sputtering and stammering.
And all those things. And nonprofits know they need to do those things, but they try to get it contributed, which sometimes they're able to, or they just cut it out of the budget when times get tough. And I understand that. I've been on both sides of that. But that's the need I see that all of us as funders need to just get past is this idea that we're going to measure them based on an efficiency ratio that says they don't spend money on themselves.
And how do you rate them?
We actually haven't rated anyone. We were looking for this fit. We obviously wanted to know that they were not going to be out of business in 6 months. What's really interesting about this model, and in the application process even, we asked them to tell us their challenges. That was a challenge to them because they're used to writing grants trying to say, we're doing great, we're wonderful, why wouldn't you want to give us money? And if they're doing
Let's get out the development pom-poms. I want you to see how great it is so we can do more.
We wanted them to get past that and tell us where could they go if they could overcome some challenges. And so we were looking for the challenges that we could help them with. So it is a very refined process. They're very carefully vetted, but vetted for both strong leadership, sustainable model, but with needing some help, needing some kind of assistance from us. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, the work starts when we write them the check. We will be working together to set goals and outcomes. I mean, obviously we're going to measure, we're all about data and measurement, but it's not going to be determined by us. We're going to ask them how they measure themselves. And then we'll set goals for helping them improve that. And over our time with them, the other thing that's really great about this model is it's multi-year. We've been saying 1 to 3 years just because we're being conservative. We don't, we need enough partners and we need them to renew every year. So I don't want to promise anything, but in Seattle, where they've been doing it 15 years, it's 5 to 6 year commitment. So over the years, they learn about them and they'll help them find other ways to measure.
This is kind of turning the model of the contribution model on its head, because it's, like you said, it's generally the ask for the money, get a pledge, everything is good, we're going to do as best we can. By the way, our operations are less than 1% or whatever that model may be, even though we can't follow up with the people who are giving us money, or we can't follow up with our clients because our database is in the hole, or any numbers of things.
For government grants because we don't have data.
Or I keep losing my XYZ person because they take a better paying job in the same position somewhere else. And you're saying, okay, I want you to have the opportunity to increase wherever it is you need. I am your donor, but I'm going to give you this money and then follow through and help you with those. And oh, by the way, we have in our partnership, we have people who have the skill sets, so ask us these questions. So here's a question. How do you draw the line? It seems like there could be a very sticky line between kind of becoming an employee of the organization or getting a little too far in and continuing to be the funder. That would be an interest. Have you seen that? Is that?
Well, we're of course just getting started, so it's all, I've been to a few conferences, met a lot of other people, and of course got to meet Paul Shoemaker this week and spend 2 days with him. I think that the line is more of a concern with us versus board, and being very clear that we're not a governance body. We're not going to take a board seat. The board has a very clear role, and that's not the role that we fill. I like to think of it as consulting, which is what I've been doing. A pro bono consulting firm. There will be, the lead partners will probably get pretty close to the agency, but they're not there to, answer the phone and write the checks and actually do the tasks. They're really there more to consult and to provide expertise. If we need tasks done and we can help them with that, perhaps we'll do some volunteering there. But we'd probably bring in other people for that. I can tell you from the stories I've heard around the network that some people, when they find their passion, they end up the employees. So they leave the partnership and say, this is what I want to do. I'm going to found this organization. I'm going to go to work for this organization. They need a new executive director. I'm going to apply for it because now I know as much as anybody because I've been in there every day. We're not going to be in there every day. But I do think there'll be some of that. One of the things I've learned is, and I hate this part, but the average tenure of a partner is about 5 years. And that's not because they don't like it. It's because after that, generally, they found their passion. And they move on. One of the executive directors said something about them thinking about, are we a university or are we a church? If we're a church, then people come and they stay with us forever. If we're a university, they come, they learn from us, and then they move on into the world. And that'll be different for different partners. I'm never going anywhere else. I mean, I found my can't not do, so I'm there. But for some of our partners, I think they'll find something they're so passionate about that they'll go focus on that. And our focus may change over time as new partners come in.
That is a phenomenal story too. Just that's a testament. Just that people are within your affiliate for 5 years and then suddenly, I've got to go do this because this is something I can't not do.
Yeah.
We're going to take a short break, Rebekah, but when we come back, I want to ask you a little bit more about your can't not do and what we call truth or care, philanthropy from the heart. We'll be right back.
And now a word from our studio sponsor.
Hi, my name is Jen Dodd. I'm the Education Manager here at the Nonprofit Leadership Center of Tampa Bay. I just wanted to talk to you for a second, if I could, about some of the really helpful resources that we have on our website. We have a resource page that then will feed out into other pages that can give you really great articles and sample forms, how-tos, tips, best practices on everything from HR issues to marketing campaigns to social media, even fundraising and fund development. That all lives under our resources page, which you can access from our homepage, www.nonprofitleadershipcenter.com. We also have our entire training schedule posted under our training page. You can also access all of our presenters' bios from that page, and you can see who will be teaching you how to fundraise, how to improve your social media, how to master your nonprofit website. You can access our job board on our homepage, www.nonprofitleadershipcenter.com. Not only can job seekers go there for nonprofit positions that are open in Tampa Bay, but also we make it free for our local nonprofits to post their open positions there so that they can attract the best talent from across Tampa Bay. Did you know that if you're looking for a nonprofit board member, you can post your open board seat on our board finder page on our website? Go to www.nonprofitleadershipcenter.com and look for Board Finder. So thanks for your time today. We look forward to seeing you at the Nonprofit Leadership Center soon, where we educate, empower, and connect local nonprofits.
So we're talking about this concept of something that you can't not do, which was a slogan arranged by Paul Shoemaker, who with Social Venture Partners International had earned the Rockefeller or received the Rockefeller Foundation Fellowship and created this thought of what is it that you are so passionate about that you can't not do. Rebekah Heppner, our guest today, talking about the can't not do that you found with Social Venture Partners Tampa Bay. Why is it your can't not do?
You know, I think that my career has developed in, to me, a very linear manner. Most people think it's crazy because I was a CPA and then I was an anthropologist and I've been a business owner and then I've done different kinds of consulting, and people were always saying to me, well, if you just pick one thing, you'd be really good at it, but you're always changing your mind. But I heard about Social Venture Partners actually in 1999 when I was working at the Community Foundation. And that was about the time Paul Shoemaker joined it. And I liked the idea, but it wasn't the right time for me. That was when I went back to school and studied anthropology and became a consultant and did some research. But over the years, that idea has kept coming back to me. And I've tried to talk other people into doing it. When I hear somebody's retiring or somebody's looking for something new or there's a new president at a foundation, wouldn't you like to take this on? And last year, I think I was just looking for something new. And I talked to a few people about it and they said, I think that would work here. And I tried to get somebody to do it, and they didn't do it, so I said, well, maybe I'll just try to get it going myself. And because I knew I had a couple of partners right away, that it wasn't just me, so a small group of us got together and we looked around, and I said, you know, you guys can be the partners, but I'll be the executive director because this is what I want to do. It brings together my business skills, my business network, my nonprofit consulting skills, my network in the nonprofit world, my anthropology, understanding of social issues, and understanding what I don't know, which is what I actually spent 7 years in graduate school learning what I don't know, and knowing that there's people in the community that can help us learn about those things. It just all came together when I understand the model has these three pieces, and I've been doing all of them in some way. It's the right time for it to all come together and for me to help the partners learn how to do it here.
And also you have a passion for collaboration, for pulling all the pieces in the nonprofit world together so that they can be more effective. And this model really speaks to that as well. Like, and right away, going to the Community Foundation of Tampa Bay, setting up a fund. That's that. You know, it's interesting because when Paul Shoemaker was doing his presentation, somebody had asked, how does this not compete with some of the other bodies
other
like the Community
funders, yeah.
Foundation? But speak to that just a little bit.
Well, actually, there's a natural fit with the Community Foundation, and we met with them while he was in town, and Marlene Spalton, the president, already gets it, but now her board chair has talked to us, and they actually had some donors meet Paul. So we're starting to develop that relationship, but in about half of the affiliates in the United States, the Social Venture Partners is a fund within the Community Foundation, and it's similar and different from the Community Foundation. Their role is facilitating donors' work, and so certainly they help them choose good investments for their money. But the next piece of getting involved in doing the engagement and the consulting piece that our partners are going to do, the Community Foundation's not really set up to do that. But some of their donors are going to be interested in what we're doing. Some of our partners will end up eventually, as they find their can't not do, setting up funds for other causes.
It's a fit.
It's a natural relationship, and it's working well in most of the country. Not everybody does it that way, but for us, I think I worked at the Community Foundation, so I understood it, and I understood why that made sense. It also gave me immediate credibility because I'm asking people for $5,000 checks, and as long as I was asking people that knew me for 30 years, they trusted what I was going to do with the money, what we're going to do together. But then when I started asking strangers, I can say, we're putting this money in the Community Foundation.
Yes.
Their board of trustees is ultimately responsible for not letting me squander the money. And we put together an infrastructure, a governance body, an advisory committee, but the Community Foundation credibility really helped us get off the ground quickly.
Well, and you mentioned before the people who knew you for 30 years, and I've heard that throughout the community too, Rebekah. So thank you for the work that you've done here, because you've established a swath of credibility just within the community. This leads me to my last question for you, which is what we call truth or care. And it is because I do believe that philanthropy, with the name that sounds so stoic or whatever, is truly a heartfelt issue. It's a relationship that we have with our community, with our fellow humanity. So what does, from your heart's definition, what does philanthropy mean to you? Why is it important to you?
Well, what's important is that there are needs in our community that aren't being met. And there are people that have given their lives to understanding those needs and working in the community to make the community a better place. But one of the difference between the nonprofit sector and the for-profit sector is most of the nonprofit sector can't charge for their services. They're serving people that don't have the money. So if people have the money and don't need the services, there's got to be a vehicle for them to help their fellow man in the rest of the community. So philanthropy really is that vehicle to allow people to be a part of solutions in their community.
I like that. Allow them to be solutions in their community. And
because the solutions are there, they just need the funding.
And to find out. And they may not want to simply give a check. That could be one solution. But and so congratulations on your model. Congratulations on your new affiliate, Social Venture Partners Tampa Bay.
We're
and
excited.
Thank you so much for coming on our show.
Thanks for having me.
Such a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having the show.
That will wrap up today's The Philanthropy Show. Be sure to join us again next Monday at 4 o'clock.
Do you have an idea for the Philanthropy Show? Contact us via our website or email us at tps@myvideovoice.com.